All right, we are back on Play It Forward with Tess Masero Brioso, filmmaker, writer, director, and cinematographer. The film we'll be talking about today is Sisters Between Eclipses. And Tess, would you like to introduce yourself or the film prior to my questions?
Yes, well, I'm Tess. I am from Barcelona, and I studied here in Barcelona a bit of production. Then I went to Ireland. I did cinematography in 35 millimeters, finished the degree in film and video. And since then, I've been doing lots of film on myself, developing a lot of projects. And this is just one of the many I've done. So,
Cool. Thank you. Tess, I really enjoyed it. It's I
thank
have a
you.
4-year-old child, and we're gonna stop at the one child. So your piece talks about siblings, and I can certainly appreciate it, even with the one child and not having any children. You can appreciate the relationship. A lot of us do have siblings. A lot of us maybe wish we had siblings. So that said, the inspiration, the little seed that popped into your head that said, I want to do a project around, I assume it's you and your sister.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
sister and I, yes.
yeah. What was that little seed?
This is very interesting because actually this project I happened in a residency I did for filmmakers. So I went 10 days to Navarra, a region in Spain, and it was a residency to develop and find your inner self, no? Your person. So I was completely terrified because I thought I'm always behind the camera and explaining stories that maybe I know a little bit about, but they are not all about me. So how do I do this? For me, it was very challenging because I was not used to at all to have to explore myself. So I was completely blank. I couldn't think about any stories. Everybody was starting to film, and I was like panicking. So uh, the idea got to me because I wanted to call my sister and my mom and say, well, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So, and then I thought, okay, well, let's ask for help. Like, I never asked for help. So I thought, this is the moment you need to ask for help. Um, and I called her and I said, can I record this? I want to ask you some questions. And all of this idea also came from, in this residency, we did like the tutor is Isabel Cochette, where she was doing this residency. So she brought like a psychologist to help us also find ourselves or explore a little bit more about ourselves. And the psychologist was going to do like a mindfulness event. And I thought, okay, I'm fine. I'm totally in control of this situation. So when the psychologist came along, for me, it was very intense because I had no idea exactly of what this mindfulness session was going to be about. And it was very, very intense. I just started crying and I couldn't stop crying, and I felt very exposed and vulnerable. So I thought, if we are here already, so let's keep going. let's if we got to here, and it doesn't matter, everybody's accepting and very caring. So I thought, okay, well, let's try this. And I called my sister, and so they would help me find a bit more about myself and to see how they saw me. And then I decided to put this into like a short film.
Well, it's
So,
very brave. It's very brave, and it's a beautiful piece. And
thank
so
you.
I take it, just to confirm, you're the older sister in the piece.
Yes, that's it. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I'm the one starting at the beginning that is talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. I think from an artistic filmmaking perspective, the exercise to have you really explore your inner self in a deep way that makes you feel vulnerable and exposed is really important because, that's the most interesting subject matter, in art are the elements that we don't talk about and the things that art can explore and allow us as humans to discuss amongst ourselves and each other. So as artists, that's our work, is to get in there and get dirty and look at the unconscious, subconscious, whatever you want to, term it, and look at those things that are private and expose those things in a way that can be accessible and helpful to others. And this piece certainly does that. The question that I'm always curious about, and I really like the fact that I can ask the creator themselves, is what is the theme or the message or the moral or the lesson that you learn, that you take away from the movie after you've made it and now you're watching it as a viewer? What do you see?
So for me, this short film was very important because I learned a lot from it that I don't think I learned from all my other short films, although I learned a lot technically or to tell stories. But for me, this was like a changing point to realize that it's okay to be more vulnerable, not all the time in control, that that I don't need, at least for me, but I think it also helps others. But for me, not to be all the time so hiding or trying to put an image. No, this is me, and that's what it is, and there is no more than that. So, and that's okay, and I shouldn't be scared of that, and that I shouldn't be scared of sharing with other people. I was because my first worry was, how is my voice going to sound? Do I sound totally like stupid? My sentence make no sense. How will people react when they see me with my sister, which is I'm my most natural with? It's my closest to my real self with my sister and my mom and my family. So I thought, this is very scary for me. So those were my worries. But then I was very surprised that people came to me afterwards to after having seen the short film, and they would thank me because they were saying to me, well, it made me think about my brother or my sister. I should really have a conversation like that. I should really call them. And I thought, wow, this is very cool, because if that just moves people to communicate with the ones they love, for me, I was like more than happy. And then I didn't worry anymore if I am crying or whatever in the short film. And I was like, wow, it made me feel that from the thing that it scared me the most, I helped some people. And that was it's a very nice feeling.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. It's interesting because I'm hearing the story of self-acceptance, coming to terms with who you are, what you're afraid you might be, might not be, having, yourself, your private self publicly more aligned. And how do you do that? How do you get to that courage? And you had to jump into it. You had to do it as part of a project, and you took the initiative. You did it. You could have said no. And saying yes to that brought about this journey of self-acceptance. But it sounds like what really hit it home for you is the fact you were more accepted. You saw that not only were you more accepted, but you were able to affect people more deeply. You were able to connect with others, and they were able to connect with you. And that is really the power of being authentic and being that vulnerable self, is you do get to make those deeper connections with other humans by taking that risk. And it's a beautiful thing. And we all face that. We all have to do that. Or we, stay trapped.
Yes, and for me now as well, I saw that it's okay to be more vulnerable. So I think, okay, I survived.
You survived.
Some people liked it, so I'm happy with that. But now for my future work, I'm happier to explore more about this, of explaining more about myself, because I kind of lost the fear of letting people see what I am or who I am and what I'm scared of and what are my worries. Or so yes, I think I can see it's benefiting my work afterwards. There is a big change. I'm braver for doing stories that are more close to my heart and that I wouldn't have dared before so much.
That's awesome. And I'm sure the storytelling has gotten stronger and the response from people is also getting stronger. It all ties in together. How have you been changed? And you just mentioned a little bit of it. How have you been changed since making the movie as a person?
Oh, I'm much more relaxed. I am honestly. I think it's strange because you say, well, it's not so much, but for me, people that know me well, they know that I am very I worry like about how I present myself, or I try to do things correctly, and all. So now I'm more like, well, whatever, that's on the internet, so I don't care. I don't care what people think so much anymore, and I'm more. If one day I'm feeling bad, or I have anxiety, or I'm feeling depressed, so I will say it. Or if I'm feel, oh, today I don't have a great day, I don't feel confident with myself, so I say it. I don't care. Even people I don't know that I've just met, I said, so this is, and I feel like I don't have to be controlling so much of my feelings and my emotions, like all the time trying to appear like happy or confident. And no, so if one day I don't feel confident, so I will say it, and that's what it is. So I think this, yeah, it just has made me more relaxed, like less stressed about social interactions.
Yeah.
So
It's wonderful. It's a very inspiring story. Your personal story that you just shared is very inspiring. And also the film is very inspiring. It's so sweet. It's lovely to see the communication between the two sisters and the different things that a child may have wanted at a time when they were a child, and then, as adults, and the foundation and the closeness that you have with your sisters there. And, it's just wonderful that you guys are now able to dance together.
yes, yes, but it's also interesting because I think sometimes when we think about relationship between siblings, I have a tendency to think that every single sibling understands each other very well and that they have a super close connection and they are super intimate and explaining things. And it's not really the case with my sister. So I think this is actually interesting because this conversation was very, very complicated for me to do, like this call. There are some certain things we're talking about that I wouldn't have, that we don't talk about them every time that we see each other. Uh, so that's what I think it's also interesting because you don't need to have your best friend doesn't need to be your sister to be able to explain this, or your sibling. It's sometimes it's interesting to have these conversations even more when they are not your best friends because you go even deeper and you can see that there is a connection that maybe you didn't think that there was so much. No, so you think, oh, my sister doesn't call me for X amount of time, so she doesn't think about me. Or and no, it's not true. It's just that there's not a great communication at a certain point in the relationship. So but I think that this is important also because it's not like the best sisters relationship like you would imagine in movies. It's not
Yeah. Well,
in movies.
yeah, right. I think what you're saying is that as siblings, there is a depth there that is
Yes,
available to explore, even if you're not communicating frequently. It's worth
exactly.
exploring.
Yeah. Even if you think, oh, my relationship with my sister is not the best, like I would imagine other people, like they're all the time hanging out together. No, it is interesting. It's important and it's very deep, even if it's not this best friend constantly every day calling and all the time connected. So I think it's interesting to just explore all kinds of relationships, even if it's not like
That's right.
Hollywood.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, because all relationships are different mirrors of ourselves,
Mm.
and they bring a greater awareness to, what we are and who we
Mm.
are, and how we see the world.
Yeah, and it gives you then, from that with my sister, then it opens a door to talking about other things, like in private or whatever. Like it's a step that was very difficult, but I think conversations like that are necessary for everybody, not only with your siblings, but your mother, your father,
Yeah.
cousins, even, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think you learn a lot about yourself
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. And the key is that you are open to those conversations, you welcome those conversations, and hopefully the other party is too,
Yes, for sure.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
for me, I just asked for help. I asked
Yeah.
her to help me. I said,
Yeah.
I need your help because I need to know who I am in this place, and I don't know. So, what would you say I am?
That's a great point. That's a great
So,
point. Yeah,
sometimes if you just ask for help, people might be more inclined to help you.
that's a great point. Well,
So,
thank you for your help today.
no problem.
Thanks for being on the show. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, so thank you very much for having me.
Tess Masero Brioso. How do I do?
Brioso, but it's
Brioso.
great.
I like the way you say it. Tess
Brioso.
Masero Brioso, filmmaker, writer, director, cinematographer. The film is Sisters Between Eclipses. We'll post a link to it. Thanks again for being on the show, and I look forward to seeing more of your work.
Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, everybody, play it forward. We're out, and see you next time. Bye.